What's what's happening? And welcome everybody to Beehive Productions Apocalypse Humpday. We're doing the zombie saga, and we are on night 17, I believe. And we are going to be hitting chapter 15 of my book, Zechariah 14:12, Humanity's Last Stand. Yes, we are on chapter 15. Just a little check back on what's been happening, just to catch you up. Um, on the last time we visited the world of Zechariah 14:12, there was the president tried gassing up Air Force One in the air, and the stratotanker. Somebody was infected on board, and they crashed. And so they got a little bit of fuel, but not enough. And in order to give the ground troops some leeway, he is going to nuke some of the bigger cities here in the United States. And yeah, so that's where we kind of left that. We also checked in with Chris and Brent and Hal, and they got some new guests. They got Kyla and Dan, I believe his name is. I don't even remember my character's names. What the hell? Yeah, so they were a group of kids that were cruising down the road, hit some zombies, crashed a car, and now they are residents of Hal Iverson's. So there's that. And then Len, who we are catching up with tonight, um, he lost their last shelter at the Pioneer Village due to the stratotanker crashing nearby at the National Guard Armory, and took out the house that they were staying in. So they walked for a while, ended up at a cemetery, and got taken over by there. And so Len jumps onto a front loader and put his kids in the shovel, and off they went to head for the Moon Valley County Fairgrounds, which is the last known stronghold set up by the government. So anyhow, that's what we'll be picking up on chapter 15. So let's, without any further ado, let's just jump into it. We don't have the people we usually have here tonight, and probably the reason for that is we started at a different time tonight. We started at 8. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to start everything at 8 o'clock. It's a good enough time. Hola, Kevin. Welcome. It's a good time for me to get home from work. It's dig season now at work, so I'm pretty busy, and I can't always guarantee getting off at a decent hour. So it gives me time for that. Gives you guys some time too. I know some of you, like Kevin, live in a later time zone than I do. So you won't have to stay up late to listen to everything. So anyhow, let's get into chapter 15 of Zechariah 14:12, Humanity's Last Stand. Chapter 15. Night was falling. The front loader chugged along the tracks, and it seemed to take forever to get to the fairgrounds where the next safe zone was reported to be. Catherine was asleep in the cab with her head in Lee's lap, who was also dozing off and on behind the seat where Len sat. "We're almost there, girls," he said with some hope in his voice. There were random infected that were never in groups larger than 3 along the way. This was a rare occasion, as most of them traveled in packs. Most stragglers like this were individuals or families that had become infected after the attacking horde had left them. About 3 miles from the fairgrounds, the front loader began to buck and chug. There were no lights on the instrument panel, but judging by the behavior of the engine, Len figured it was running out of fuel. "No, God damn it," he thought to himself. Why can't we just have a few hours of good luck? Why? Dad? Lee asked from behind him. What's going on? He hesitated and then said, We're running out of gas, I guess, honey. She immediately began to panic and woke up Catherine. Oh, no, she said. Oh, God, no. Relax, honey. We're almost to the fairgrounds. See the lights over there beyond the trees? A glow emitted along the skyline where the fairgrounds lay. Are we supposed to walk the rest of the way? I don't think we have a choice, kiddo. Len spotted an old ramshackle house to his left, and there were abandoned junkers sitting among the overgrown grass in the backyard. The house looked abandoned. We could stay the night in the house over there, and then head for the fairgrounds in the morning if you want. Lee looked over at Catherine, and then, after a silent agreement, they both nodded their heads at their dad. Okay. Len cut the chugging engine. You two stay here and be very still and very quiet. Where are you going, Daddy? Catherine asked. I have to make sure the house is safe, honey. With that, he climbed out of the cab with the shotgun ready for action. He crouched down and moved along the tall grass, going from junker to junker, making his way to the back door. He looked back at his daughters and then made his way to the door. As he slowly opened the old door, a baseball bat swung out of the darkness of the house and struck him between the neck and shoulder. It was a violent blow, but not enough to knock him unconscious. He dropped the shotgun and laid there in a crumbling 4x4 porch, wondering why he had difficulty moving his left arm. He used his right hand to touch where the bat had connected with him, and he felt it with a wince of pain. His collarbone had been broken. An old biker came out holding the bat high above his head, ready to strike again, this time with a fatal blow. Please, don't, Len cried out. I have kids waiting for me. Reason flashed in the man's eyes, and he slowly lowered the bat. He bent down and picked up Len's shotgun. You got any more shells for this? The man asked. Yes, Len answered with a pained breath. The pain was sharp now. Give them over. I can't. You broke my fucking collarbone. The man pressed the tip of the bat against Len's chest and then went through his pockets. He found the extra shells and pocketed them. He found Len's wallet and took that as well. Where are your girls? The man asked, putting the bat down and aiming the shotgun at him. Out by the tracks. Do you have a vehicle? Supplies? It's a front loader from the cemetery. I've got a small amount of food. I'm taking it all. Let's go. Just don't hurt my girls. The man grabbed the front of his shirt and forced him painfully up. Just get your ass going and don't worry about what I'm going to do to your girls. Len wished he could call out to his girls to run, but he knows his head would be blown off before he could do anything. Just take what we have, Len said. Leave my kids alone. And just take what we have, please. I'm not some sick fuck, the man said. I'm surviving, just like you. I don't want anything except food and supplies. Now move. The girls screamed when they saw their father being led by a crazy-looking man holding a shotgun to their dad's head. Calm down, girls, Len said. He just wants a bag of food. Just give him the bag of food and he'll let me go. Daddy, Catherine cried. It's okay, honey. Just hand the man the bag. 3 infected came from the house next door to the man. A very fat man in his dirty underwear, his equally plump wife, who was also in her undergarments, and what they assumed was their daughter, just on this side of chubby and nearly 16. Ah, shit. Gary, the man said with some sadness in his tone. He lifted the gun and took the head off Gary. With another shell, he took out the wife and he loaded another shell and took out their daughter. Jesus, the man said. Catherine and Lee were crying. The man turned his gun towards the kids, and Len jumped in between the gun and his kids. Take it easy, Len said. Tell them to shut up, or they'll bring more. If they don't stop their goddamn crying, I'm going to put some birdshot into them. I'll kill you first. The man laughed. You've got some guts, but I've got to survive. And if that means plugging 2 girls and their gimped up father, I'll do it. Lee handed the black plastic bag to the man, still sniffling in her tears. That's a good girl, he said, and shoved Len onto the ground. Now take care of your daddy before you all become lunch. He fired the gun into the air and then ran back into his house. The girls ran out to their father, crying. As they helped him up, they heard groaning and saw that there were 2 more infected people coming towards them. Dad, get up, Lee yelled. Get up, Dad. They're coming. Len scrambled to his feet and led them to the house next door where the other 3 infected people came out of. 2 chickens were torn apart, as well as a goat and a Rottweiler. I don't want to go in there, Catherine screamed. I want to go to the safe zone. In the garage were 4 bicycles. Len didn't know if he could ride one well enough because of the use of his left arm was very limited. Come on, he said, getting onto one of them. Get on the bikes and head for the road. They both grabbed onto a bike. The one Catherine picked was too big for her, but she managed to keep it upright and was pedaling for Highway 16 with her sister. Len couldn't use his left arm or hand at all, so the first time he got the bike moving, he fell on his side. He heard his girls call out for him, and he righted himself up again and got the bike moving as he wobbled himself up to them. Head for the fairgrounds, he said. Ahead of them was a group of infected who were only standing there in that peculiar way, staring into space. All 3 of them remained silent as they pedaled their way through them. Once they got 3/4 of the way past, the group took notice of them and reached out. Catherine nearly got caught by her shirt, but she was going too fast for them to make purchase. A female had walked into Lee's path. She was able to duck and swerve around it, and Len came up behind and kicked it over. There were abandoned cars all over the road. Windows were smashed out, and inside, half-eaten corpses lay in a bloodied mess. Some vehicles had infected inside the cabs, but they couldn't figure out how to get out of them. They took the ditch because the roads had become clogged, and Len didn't know if they could avoid all the infected roaming about. It was painful, and he almost lost his balance trying to navigate with just one arm. He had pulled his shirt off and used it as a sling for his arm. We're almost there, Daddy, Catherine said with some joy in her voice. He led them to a grove of trees as they laid their bikes down and hid within the bushes. The lights beamed through the trees, and they now squatted anxiously just 135 feet north of the Moon Valley County Fairgrounds. I'm tired, Daddy, Catherine whispered to him. When are we going to rest? Soon, honey, he said, stroking her sweaty hair. Do you see the fairgrounds over there? She pulled back the branches of the lilac bush they were crouched by. There ahead of them stood the high fence of the fairgrounds. High field lights lit up the area. She remembered going here every August with her family. Now it was being patrolled by National Guardsmen and civilians with shotguns. Yes, I see it, she answered in a melancholy voice that broke Len's heart. Is that where we're going? We're going to try, he answered, scanning the surrounding area. Is Mom going to be there? Lee, the oldest, asked. I don't know. I hope so. What if she's not? Lee's voice started to crack. We can worry about that when we get there, honey. Right now, we need to work on getting in there, okay? Daddy, Catherine said out loud. There's one. Shh. Len put his dirty hand over her mouth. They'll hear us. A wobbly figure came from the shadows and into the light of the field lights, walking with some purpose, slowly limping its way towards the fence. It was hard to get a clear view of it from this far back, but they knew what it was. Just then, gunfire erupted from one of the guardsmen, and with efficient accuracy, the figure's head exploded after only 2 shots, and it fell to the ground. "Got it!" the shooter hollered to his cohorts. Len shielded both his daughter's eyes from the scene. They shuddered at the sound of gunfire. "Are they done, Daddy?" Lee asked. "I think so, babe." He looked off to where the figure came from to see if any others came. "Okay, kids." He uncovered their eyes. "It's time." They broke cover and ran into what used to be the grass parking lot. It was covered with mud from the previous rains. Some of the guardsmen shouted at them as they trudged towards the gate. "Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" Len shouted. "Get down! Get down!" the guardsmen were shouting. Len looked behind him, and off to the left came 3 of them. One was female, and the other 2 were male. Half rotted and running impossibly on deteriorating sinews, their eyes blank like all the rest, and mouths caked with dried blood from their former feasts. "Oh, God." Len pushed his daughters to move faster. His foot got stuck in a mud puddle and he went down. His daughters stopped and looked back at him. "Daddy!" they screamed in unison. Lee tried to run back to him. "Keep going!" he yelled at them. "Get to the fence!" They stood in horror as 3 figures came shambling rapidly towards them. Len got back up on his feet, covered in mud and grass. "Go, goddammit!" he yelled at them. "Daddy!" they yelled just as the female had closed in on him and knocked him down. The stink was horrendous, pungent with decay, her breath of sour meat and her skin rubbing against his own, dry and leathery, where he could sense the dead flesh under it, like a fish trying to wriggle from beneath her. Her teeth kept snapping at his skin. "Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God!" he yelled at the top of his lungs, trying to stave off those murderous, hungry teeth shown through ragged lips. The other 2 males came at him as well. He could hear their moans of newfound food. Then shots rang out. "Hey, Chuck. Nice of you to make it, buddy. Good to see you." Then shots rang out in the night air. Something was hit, and he was hoping it wasn't one of his daughters as they screamed. Another shot, and the shoulder of the female atop him blew apart, and her arm came off. Maggots spilled onto his face as he groaned in repulsion. Another shot over the sounds of his daughter's screams again. This one struck the center of the female's head, and her dead eyes rolled up into her skull, and she fell forward onto him. He gagged from the smell. He shifted onto his stomach as the female slid off to his side. He crawled hurriedly to his feet when he saw that one of the males had been killed and was lying in front of him. The other was rushing up on him. He turned, hearing an oncoming hiss, and a bullet cut its way through the thing's eyeball, scattering the remains of its head behind it. His girls were at the fence being pulled into the other side as they screamed for him. "Run, Daddy!" they yelled. Len, not knowing if there was another behind him, he had lost a shoe and the ground was too thick to run fast. With each step it was agony on his broken collarbone. He heard 2 shots, and then accompanying hisses past his head, a grunt behind him, and then a thud as whatever was hit fell to the ground. Without breath, he made it to the gate and collapsed into the arms of a stranger who was holding a 9mm. Lee and Catherine ran into his chest crying. "Let's get you 3 inside the hockey arena," one of the men said. And that, my friends, is the end of chapter 15. Next week, on Apocalypse Humpday, we'll be going into chapter 16, and it will be we'll be hanging out with the President of the United States. So consider that an honor. So anyway, yeah. As far as things that are going on here at the Beehive, we are trying to cement in my guest for what's buzzing at the Hive. I'm hoping for next Friday. Um, yeah, I believe we'll be talking with a special guest, and that'll be on a Friday night, possibly about 8 o'clock. We'll be doing that, and um, as I said before, I'm doing an album. Uh, it's a project that a friend had brought up to me that he wants to do, and so we'll be recording that. Just lock your doors, Kevin, and make sure the windows are barred. Yeah, so we got that going on, and I have an author talk at the Winthrop um, City Library, so that's happening. I'll be making an event for that. That's happening in August. Um, and I've got Tunes for Tuesday next Tuesday is going to be kind of a free for all. So I'm gonna have a few songs for you, and let's see what you guys got for me. So anyhow, and that also will be at 8 o'clock. So I think from now on, everything that's on here will be scheduled for 8. So yeah. So just be sure to tune in then. In the meantime, um, if you haven't already, if you're on here and you're watching, and please drop me a hello. Let me know you're here. Like most of the guys here, um, Bobby Paulson, Chuck Northwick, Kevin Walzer. I know a lot of you guys tune in afterwards. Stephanie tunes in. Yeah, so Dwayne, Terry. So yeah, give shout out a hello. Even if you tune in after the live broadcast, please drop me a hello. Let me know you saw the video. Drop a comment. Let me know how you like the story so far, or if you don't like it. I do take criticism pretty well. I might kill you in the next book, but I take criticism pretty well. Anyhow, um, yeah, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the Beehive Productions page, and also head over to YouTube, youtube.com/Bradley Bodeker, and subscribe to that, please. I've just kind of at a holding pattern at 27 subscribers, which is totally fine. I'm not going for the whole, uh, yeah, I'm not trying to become the next influencer or anything like that. I'm just here to tell my stories and play some music with you guys. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, if you guys have something to say, or you guys want to talk and chat on here, um, don't forget to just message me. Let me know what you want to talk about, and we can set something up. So I'm trying to do the buzz at the Hive. I'm trying to do that once a month. I've got a few people that really want to come on, so I might do that twice a month. We'll see. We'll see how that works. So I'm starting to use up all the days of the week. Anyhow, and that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. But anyhow, um, t-shirts. Where can I get a Beehive t-shirt? That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. I've actually been looking at the price for swag and stuff like that for Beehive Productions, and yeah, I've got some ideas. I've just got to get some prices down and start figuring out how to fund all this stuff. Thinking about starting a Patreon, and with a Patreon, I can get support from you guys, and yeah, and then we can start swagging people to death. But anyhow, drones for Brad. Yeah, exactly. So I just got to tell you this quick story. Um, in the city of Winthrop here that I live, I used to bartend at Pimo's Bar, and everybody just called me Brown Man. and then I'm totally cool with that too. I wasn't offended or nothing, and they didn't mean it as an offense. It was just an endearing term that they named me, Brown Man. Anyhow, when I'd meet people, I'd tell them that I was the mayor of Winthrop, and people believed it. And anyhow, I ordered a pizza tonight, and the girlfriend and I went to go eat some, and I opened up the cover, and it said Brown Man for Mayor 2024. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, it'd be kind of, it got me in the mood for doing some swag, and I was thinking like bumper stickers and bookmarkers since I write and stuff. Even like guitar picks would be cool, and T-shirts definitely. So it's just a matter of cost, and I got to figure that out. So in the meantime, and I don't sit idle with that stuff. I do actually actively look at this stuff. If I'm not researching a singer, then I'm going to be featuring on Tunes for Tuesday. I'm usually trying to learn some songs online, or I'm writing, or I'm researching stuff that I'm writing about. Um, yeah, so, and I'm also pricing stuff like swag, trying to get the best price. Um, I have actually, trying to network with some of the people that I've met on Facebook here. There's a lot of businesses that kind of want to trade likes and stuff like that, shares and whatever. And they also do, like, there's a sticker place, and there's a place that does T-shirts and stuff. Their prices are really steep, at least for my taste, or my budget, I should say. My taste is very expensive, but yeah. So I am looking for. I want a quality product, but I also want the price to be pretty decent as well. So if you guys could throw some ideas on what you think like t-shirts should say, or bookmarks should say, or guitar pick. Well, guitar pick's kind of hard to put a saying on it, but bumper stickers, t-shirts, stuff like that. Yeah, if you guys got some sayings, hit me up on here, and we'll share them around. So anyhow, thank you guys. I really can't thank you guys enough. And even just a few guys on here that I talk to on a regular basis. You all know who you are, because you're the ones that usually post a comment on here, or you like at least. Um, it's a great way for me. It's cathartic for me, for one, like writing is, or like playing music is, and just knowing I got the support of a handful of good friends means the world for me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am working on this book. It is not a horror story. It's actually kind of semi autobiographical, but it's about a biker who gets a cancer diagnosis, and so he sells everything, jumps on his bike, and he travels across America and meets all kinds of really cool people. So yeah, we definitely got to have something there for with Badgers, Chuck, on some of that stuff. So anyhow, and thank you for saying that, Bobby. I really do appreciate that. You have more belief in me than I have in myself currently, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yeah. So that's what we got. And I'm going to be working on posting some events for next week and further into the summer. So until then, we'll talk to you guys soon. We'll talk to you next week for sure. All right. Peace out, everybody. Mwah. Love you. And why isn't this button working? Push the button, Brad.